This is an answer to somebody that asked me how I got saved. When I was a little kid, it's about in the fourth grade, everything was going wrong in my life. My parents looked like they were getting a divorce. Everything was falling apart. I was raised with a father that was atheist, basically. Taught us about evolution, taught us we came from monkeys. But yet, one night, I was really under some pressure. I'd been stressing, parents going to get divorced, I was going to fail the fourth grade, that was a big deal. My own fault, I hadn't turned nothing in schoolwork for 6 months, but still, it was a big traumatic thing. And one night, while I was laying in bed, I heard a voice. And this voice, when it spoke to me, there was no doubt in my mind that it was God. I didn't know who God was, but I knew that it was God. And I knew instantly at that moment that I was going to go to hell. I knew instantly. Nobody had told me about hell. Nobody had put it in through a church or through fear tactics. But I knew that God was real, that hell was real, and that I was going there, period. I was aware of my sin. I couldn't have told you what sin was. I had no idea what sin was, scripturally speaking. But I knew that I was guilty, that God was good and I wasn't, and I was going to hell. And I lay there all night long. And this list came before me, and it was this huge list. And I heard the voice reading these things, and it read off to me everything that I'd ever done wrong. The easiest way I could compare it now would be to say like in a Christmas story, when the Christmas list, they open up and it just rolls and rolls and rolls down. That was the things that I was guilty of, and I was just in the fourth grade. I often say I don't know what that list would look like now. I'm a little older than the fourth grade. But I cried all night long. I lay there and I cried because I didn't know there was any way. And I would say, God, is there any way? Can I have a second chance? Can I have another chance? And if I was praying now, I'd ask for 5 million chances. But it was in my heart, God, can I have one more chance? I didn't know anything about Jesus. I didn't know anything about salvation. I didn't know anything about any religious things. All I knew was there was a God, He was real, and I was not worthy to be in His presence. And I cried. And along about sunup, not quite sunup, but along about sunup, this light came into the room. And this light came into the room, and the sweetest voice I've ever heard came and said, the way's been made. You're forgiven. At that moment, all the weight that was upon my shoulders left. That weight had came in the second grade when I knowingly did something my heart told me not to do, and I died on the inside. And for 2 years I was in that shape. But at that moment when that voice said, you're forgiven, all of that left me. I still couldn't have told you who God was. I still couldn't have told you who Jesus was. I still couldn't have told you a plan of salvation. I couldn't have told you anything except the Creator of the universe had intervened in a fourth grader's life in 1970. And He had forgiven me. The way had been made. And I was never the same. And I'm changed to this day. Years later, I never told that story because I thought people think he's crazy. Years later, I told this same story in a men's breakfast. And my older brother that was asleep on the top bunk in that bedroom that night was sitting there listening. And when I got to the part about the light coming into the room, his eyes got great big. And he said, I saw it. I saw it. I saw that light. He didn't hear the voice, but he saw the light. And all those years later, he thought he was the only one that had saw the light. But I had saw the light. And God had changed me. And He'll change you too. Amen.